All right, let me hit you with something that sounds absolutely insane at first. But the more you look at it, the more you realize it might be true. There's a growing belief inside one of the world's most advanced AI labs that the job of a software engineer, one of the highest paid, hardest to replace careers on Earth, is about to collapse. Not in 20 years, not in 10. Next year. Yeah, you heard that right. And this isn't coming from some random influencer hyping AI for clicks. This comes from inside Anthropic, the company behind one of the most powerful AI systems ever built. Engineers there are making a prediction so bold that it's sending shockwaves through the entire tech world. They say we're entering a new era, an era where AI doesn't just help you code. It codes for you. It plans, it decides, it builds, it fixes, it improves, all on its own. And the craziest part? There's early proof it's already happening. Today, we're going to break down the new AI model that sparked this prophecy, the one called Claude OPUS 4.5, and figure out whether this is hype or whether the foundations of the software engineering profession are actually starting to crack. Because if an AI can fully automate one of the world's most complex jobs, then what does that mean for the rest of us?
Okay, so let's just jump right in. There's a huge development happening in the world of AI, and it's got a lot of people asking a pretty radical question. Is the job of a software engineer about to become a thing of the past?
Yeah, you heard that right. That's a direct quote from an engineer at Anthropic, one of the biggest players in the AI space. It's about as bold a statement as you can possibly make in tech. And he's not talking about some far-off, distant future. He's talking about something he thinks is literally right around the corner.
So, that's really the big question we're diving into today. Is this just some wild exaggeration from someone who's a little too close to the project? Or are we actually looking at the edge of a revolution that could completely redefine one of the most in-demand jobs on the entire planet?
All right, let's talk about this prophecy that's sending shockwaves through the tech world. It's coming from inside Anthropic, a top-tier AI company. And it basically says that AI is on the verge of taking over the entire process of building software.
And let's be crystal clear about what this claim is. This isn't about some AI assistant that helps a coder out. No, we are talking about an AI that does the entire job, from start to finish, with almost no human help at all. And the timeline they're hinting at? As soon as next year. It's wild.
So what in the world is driving this unbelievable prediction? Well, it all comes down to a new flagship AI model from Anthropic. Its name is Claude OPUS 4.5, and it is a massive leap forward.
And what's really mind-boggling here is just the speed of all this. I mean, back in September, Anthropic put out Sonnet 4.5, and people were already calling it the best coding model in the world. Then just 2 months later, they dropped OPUS 4.5, which they say is a huge leap even beyond that. The pace is just staggering.
So what is this thing exactly? Anthropic calls it a frontier model. Basically, think of that as the absolute cutting edge of AI. It's not just built to answer your questions, it's designed from the ground up for really complex multi-step jobs, like writing seriously sophisticated code and automating entire workflows.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Why is this model supposedly so revolutionary? Well, it really boils down to 3 key upgrades. Its raw performance, its incredible efficiency, and how much easier it is to use. First up, performance. Early testers are saying OPUS 4.5 can tackle tasks that were flat out impossible for the last version. It's much better at something called agentic coding, which just means it can act on its own, like an agent. It can even handle vague requests and think through the pros and cons of different options. Just like a senior human developer would.
And hey, this isn't just talk. The numbers actually back it up. On a major industry test for coding called SW Bench, OPUS 4.5 became the first model ever to score over 80%. It beat out its biggest competitors from OpenAI and Google. The main takeaway here is simple. It is measurably better at the job of coding.
So it performs better, sure, but that's only half the story. It's also way, way more efficient. And this is where the whole economic picture starts to shift in a really big way. Just look at this number. To get the same quality result as the model before it, OPUS 4.5 uses 76% fewer tokens. You can kind of think of tokens as the fuel AI runs on. So it's doing the same work, or even better work, with just a fraction of the resources. And that efficiency, it translates directly to cost. Anthropic just slashed the price for developers. What used to cost $15 per million tokens now costs just 5. That's a massive price drop, and it makes this incredible power way more accessible to everyone.
So you've got this perfect storm, right? It's cheaper to run, it gets the job done faster, and it's more powerful than anything we've seen before. That combination is a recipe for incredibly fast adoption.
And finally, let's talk about actually using the thing. A huge headache with older models was that you'd hit these really strict usage limits. You could be deep in a project and bam, you're cut off for hours. Well, with OPUS 4.5, they've fixed that. The AI now automatically summarizes the conversation as you go, so you can just keep working. That one change removes a huge barrier to doing any kind of serious, complex work.
Okay, so we've looked at the specs. It's powerful, it's efficient, it's easier to use, but what does that actually look like when the rubber meets the road? How does this all translate into getting real work done?
This is how that Agentic AI thing we talked about actually works. It's not just a passive tool waiting for commands. First, it asks you questions to make sure it really gets what you want. Then it maps out a step-by-step plan that you can look at and even change. And finally, it just goes and does it. It writes the code, automates the tasks. It's more like a partner than a tool.
And here's that engineer Adam Wolf again, talking about what it feels like to use it. He says he can now give the AI a task and just let it run on its own for 20 or 30 minutes. When he checks back in, the job is often just done. That's a totally different way of working.
And this isn't just happening inside some AI research lab. Check out this quote from a user on the MacRumors forum. This person claims they saved an estimated $40,000 in developer costs in a single week, and it only cost them about $1,000 in AI fees. I mean, that return on investment is absolutely staggering. It's a real-world signal that the disruption is already happening.
So let's bring this all together. We started with this really shocking prediction, and now we've looked at the tech, the performance, and the results people are getting. So, what's the big takeaway here?
The most important thing to grasp is that this isn't just another small update. It's a fundamental leap in how much an AI can do on its own. And when you combine that new power with a much, much lower price tag, you get a perfect storm for things to change fast. And like we just saw, regular people are already using this to get huge productivity boosts and save a ton of money.
When you put all that evidence together, that first quote we saw, the one that said software engineering is done, it starts to sound a lot less like crazy talk and a lot more like a very real and very near possibility.
And that leaves us with a final, much bigger question to chew on. For years, software engineering has been seen as this creative, complex, totally future-proof career. Now, this shift might not mean engineers vanish, but that their job changes. Maybe they become more of an architect and less of a bricklayer. But it raises a critical point. If the core craft of a job like that can be automated, what does it mean for everyone else? If the coder's job is being turned upside down, which profession out there is truly safe?
To get more education, news and updates on AI, like and subscribe Agentic Wave.